Hi everybody, Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much for joining me again today on Fern Bushcraft. I haven't filmed setting up this tent. I'm going to give it a bit more of a detail of the functions of this tent, but it's a pomoly stove hut. I've had this tent possibly 4 or 5 years now, and I use it all year round, and I'll explain the features a bit more in depth for you at the moment. But I am all set up, ready to go. I've got my stove in on the left, I've got my chair with my reindeer pelt on, bed's all set up. It's already warm in there. We are due to be, I think, -4, -3 during the night, but as you'd see from my last video in the stove hut, I'm going to be probably 20 degrees plus in there, probably too hot if anything. I've got something interesting to cook today though. I'm just doing, I say just doing, it's a home favourite. It's called Indian burgers, which is basically just chicken marinated in curry sauces. You use a naan bread as the bun, and then some grilled halloumi. I'll show you all in detail, but the best thing about going bushcrafting for me anyway is I always like to learn some sort of new skill or just do something a little bit differently. So it's going to be rotisserie chicken, but I've done that loads of times. You know, you just sit there and turn a stick. It's easy, there's no fun in that. But I am going to try and set up between these two trees here a self-rotating rotisserie using the Da Vinci flying pendulum, which most of you are thinking, what the hell is that? Essentially, it's the primitive version of a clock. So if you think how an old clock on a church or whatever works, it's got a counterweight and it goes down ever so slowly and it turns the clock. I'm going to try and replicate that bushcraft style. If I don't, at the end of the day, I can just sit there and turn the chicken manually. But like I said, let's try and add some new skills. Let's do something fun. So if this works, this will be the Da Vinci flying pendulum rotisserie chicken. That's about it really. I've got to get set up now. I'll quickly show you around the tent, and then I'll show you what my plan is in regards to that rotisserie, and then it's a case of chilling out really. I mean, the chicken itself won't take long to cook. I try not to give me a big meal. I tend to go overboard with my meals that take hours to cook. I'm trying to do it a lot easier this time. But yeah, let me show you the tent then. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the pomoly stove hut. So it's a fantastic tent. It was when I was first getting into bushcrafting, I thought, right, I want a really good tent that's all year round, blah, blah, blah. So I did all the research, and this is the one for me. In the summer, it's got a full bug net, which I've rolled up here. I don't need the bug net right now, but it's also what they call a bathtub bottom, which means that is completely sealed. You've got a bug net there on the left, another bug there at the right. So in the summer, you are getting no creepy crawlies in here whatsoever. And you've got the vestibule at the side for the stove, which is brilliant. Obviously, in the cosy shack that I use, the stove is in the tent with me. It's too flipping hot, to be honest, way too hot. But in the summer, when you're not using the stove, you can use that to keep, you know, your gear in, whatever. Me and Matilda have slept in here many, many, many times. It is classed as a 2-man tent, so it can be done, but there's not much, you know, if you're winter camping and you're going to be stuck in the tent a lot, you really want a lot more space than what this offers. But this is fantastic for a 1-man. Stretch at a 2-man. Got all my gear here that I need. I've got my wall blanket down as a sort of carpet really, just to help keep, because with hot tenting the ground's wet, so as that stove heats up the wet ground, all that moisture is going to come up, and then it ends up sticking on the top of the sort of roof of the tent, and then it ends up coming down, and you don't want that. So I've got the usual carpet underneath to stop that moisture barrier, and then I've got a top barrier there. And a new blanket for Christmas, so I'll show you that in a minute. Matilda got me that. As you all know, I've got my little pillow that Matilda got me, and basically it's a large blanket version of that. I'll get you out to show you that properly to appreciate it better, but I'll show you the rest of the tent first. What sold it for me was, you know, a lot of people, they bring a tent and then they bring a tarp, and I'm like, well, I'd rather have a tent that has a tarp. So this is essentially the door to the tent. You can close that right down and be fully enclosed in there, you know, if it's torrential rain or what have you. But for me, I have it as a canopy like that, and it's got all these wonderful wind blocks here. I can't really sell it enough, to be honest. Absolutely fantastic tent. I would class this as budget friendly. You know, I think I paid £120 for it, something like that. And it's just so easy to go up. You can have poles. It could come with poles for here, but I am prone to kicking them over. So I'd rather have guy lines way out the way. Plus, you can't really see them in this light, but I've got my fairy lights. So my absolutely manly fairy lights that my good friend of mine, Stag Outdoors, constantly laughs at me for, but I like it. It's a lovely little spot. So I've already started setting up a sort of basic rotisserie here. Good bit of firewood. I've got a massive bag of logs here because I'm in the stove hut, you see. With the stove, you don't want to be burning wet wood. I mean, it's not that everything's wet round here, but obviously it's frozen, so when it gets hot it becomes water. Burning wet wood in a stove creates creosote, and you do not want creosote dripping down and burning on top of your stove. So safe side, brought a bag of wood with me. It's 14 quid, that'll go all night. Bit more wood there, I'll go and forage a bit more if I need to. But that is the tent pretty much. It's an absolute beauty. If you are looking for a starter 4-season tent, this is the one. It's pomoly stove. I'll put a link in the description, or I might just put the details in the description really. I just started dropping a little bit nippy. It's coming up 2 o'clock now, so I'll get the stove on and cheeky brew. Plenty of wood, so I've got me chopped up little bits there to get it going, and then got all that for later, and I've got all that stuff over there, and I've got an entire woodland to pick all the dead fallen from, so I'm going to be fine. Very much looking forward to it. I can feel the heat in here already. That's been on 2 minutes. A lot of people notice as well, see how the glass is all fogged up. As soon as it gets hot enough, it'll self-clean. It burns itself off, so that'll give off a cracking glow in here, I'm hoping. Like it does in the cosy shack. With this being a bit smaller, I'm hoping it will reflect off the walls a bit more. Time will tell. I'm just sat here chilling, and I've got this lovely little robin that keeps hopping round camp. He's not fried of me at all. I mean, he's like 2 meters away. I might chuck some bread or something out for him in a bit. I'm thinking of making my own bread, so if it's crap, he can have it. I'm sure he'll be grateful of it. A lovely little visitor. Right, time for a cheeky little brew. It's reading a incredibly pleasant 4 degrees in here. It feels a hell of a lot warmer than that. But these are just 2-in-1 coffees. They'll do me. I'll let that trickle over now. And I'm getting there with the rotisserie. But I want to show you when I've actually got it all together. So I'm going to have a quick coffee break, finalise the mechanism, and then I'll show you guys what the hell I've been on about when I keep saying flying pendulum. Hi there folks, I was building the flying pendulum, and as you can see, I just completely ran out of daylight to perform it really. I've only got the lights on my camera. I should have brought a big floodlight. I knew how dark it was going to get early, but never mind. But it was working, you know, to an extent guaranteed. I don't think I'd have been able to cook on it. So a few more tweaks, a bit more planning, and then next time when I've got a bit more light, I'll try and build that for you. But it doesn't stop me building. It doesn't stop me cooking my Indian burgers on the spit as normal. So I'm just going to start a fire now to make things easier for myself, because it's pitch black. What I've got here is just some cotton buds that have been dipped in Vaseline, and they should take a spark nicely and should ignite. Just a bit of birch bark to aid it. Just some little bits on. For a minute. Excuse me while I put my light on. Should, let me turn the light back off so you can see me. If I leave that alone now for about what, 15 minutes, put a couple more logs on, I'll have a perfect little bed of coals here to go along with my spit. So I'm going to show you how I marinate the chicken, prepare the chicken, and then start cooking really. Okie dokie, time to get the chicken prep then. So I've just got some chicken thighs with skin on and etc, so I'm going to prep them myself. They'll be going into this tub with, with yogurt, Greek yogurt. There you go. Have some of that, and then lemon and curry powder, chili flakes. Leave that marinated for ages. I've still got loads of time left for coals, but I do like to get a little bit ahead. Very difficult to keep your hands clean in bushcraft game, so I always just bring a few pairs of these disposable gloves when I'm handling food, etc. Or at least recently I have, should I say. Let's just shift that out of the road for a minute. Let's have a look what we're playing with here. Okay, so just rip the skins off, we don't need them. It's still got a bone in them, so it's not a problem. I'll cut it out. Normally at home I'd save these for, you know, chicken wings, etc. I don't need that for what I'm doing today. I want chicken, sort of like that, really. Well, take them home with me. It's cold enough, so I'll cook them again. Or I might have some wings later. Actually, it's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to save them for some wings later. That'd be nice. But I won't marinate them with this. I'll just keep these separate for now. Otherwise, there's way too much. Even for Benji, he likes sweet, but yeah, I don't like to be full neither. Try to save as much of this as we can. So there's only a little one. Right, keep going. I'm going to have a little bash at trying to finish that Da Vinci pendulum thing, because I'm a bit annoyed with myself that I haven't brought a big enough light to do it, but equally I don't want to set out to try and do something and then not do it, so I might give it, because I've got plenty of time, you see, because of the coals. Sorry, still waiting for the coals. There's birch bark on there, so it's going to be ridiculously hot, so it shouldn't take long. But I can't recall if birch is any good for embers, as in cooking embers, but we'll find out, no doubt. Okay, I'm going to need a lot more, but how much more is there? Oh, there's only one more. Oh, okay. Be rude not to. Okay, rip them off. Try and find the biggest bit, which is there. So these will be cooked for wings later, I think. I don't see why not at all. Let me just change my gloves and then I'll show you how I do the marinade part of it. Okay, so clean the knife, fresh gloves, fresh new chopping board, completely different. These just thin plastic ones that are perfect to put on this table. They've got an anti-slip thing at the bottom. So we're going to have some yogurt for them. This is just for the marinade. Where'd I put that spoon? Apparently it helps sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Helps the marinade get into the meat a little bit more. Just mix that roughly. Make sure everything gets coated. Maybe small kebabs, but there is only me, so it might be enough. I always eat with my eyes and always want more. A very, very, very good helping of curry powder. Looks like that. If there's any chefs or connoisseurs watching this, you know, this is the way I do it, so please don't be shouting at me in the comments. If you've got any tips, though, please do leave some tips. I'm always open to tips. But yeah, if I'm doing this wrong on a culinary level, tough, it works for me. Bit of chilli flake, we like it a bit spicy. We can get rid of that soft pourer thing in there for a start. We do like it spicy. Now I've got cumin there, but I'm going to use that for the halloumi, because you have these with halloumi as well. And now half a lemon, because that helps with the marinade as well, allegedly. Cuts into the meat a little bit better, something like that. Another mix. Now we've got this lovely. Can we get that over the light? The lighting's really hard to do again. I wish I'd brought my floodlight. Oh god, that smells amazing. Okay, yeah, again, sorry about the lighting, trying my best. So that can just sit now for what, another hour. I don't necessarily need coals to do what I'm doing. It's just a lot easier to control the meat, because obviously there's some very big bits in there and they need to cook. It's not going to be like cooking a full chicken though. I've cooked a full chicken before. Sometimes it could take half an hour, sometimes the one time it took 2 hours. Poor lads were starving, bless them. Yeah, it's fairly easy, you just got to keep an eye on it. Okay, so I'll put that away and then I'll chill out for a little bit and I'll bring you back when we're ready to start putting it on the spit. Well, that's a lesson learned to myself. I've normally got a general rule of thumb of no sharps after dark so that you don't get hurt, but I really wanted to try and finish that pendulum, swinging pendulum contraption for you, and ended up smashing my thumb up with the blunt end of the axe, the hammer end, should I say. So that's, at least it's not the end of the world, but lesson learned. Luckily enough, I'd already carved my spit in the day, so yeah, make sure you don't do silly things at night time. That's to myself included, really, because it takes one bit of complacency. It's all right, you only just whacked it, but I think the nail might have come off. But yeah, the chicken's marinating, food's cooking. We're all ready to go, really. I'm going to chill out for a little bit, and then I'll bring you in closer when we actually start cooking the chicken, etc., and how I prep the salad. Oh, look forward to it now. Just talk about it's made me go well hungry. Come on, fire. Okay, so we're at that time now then. So I've got my spit that I carved earlier, just a bit of hazel with the bark stripped off, point on the end. Start making some of this chicken. And just literally find the sort of middle, preferably. Somewhere where it's not going to completely tear through. I don't think I'm going to put it all on, to be honest. Because knowing me, I'll have one now and probably another one about 9 o'clock. That's enough for one, you see. Well, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. I might as well put this little one on. Yeah. Oh, that'll do. Ah, there we have it. Not the prettiest looking thing, but it tastes amazing, trust me. So that's all on now. All the marinades in there. It's not spinning around too much because it's nice and tight on the stick, which is what we want. And then the pièce de résistance, let's get it on. There we go. So, you got to take a lot of things into consideration, you see. Excuse me, I'm getting smoked out. That was a bad spot. Normally in the summer that'd be fine, distance wise, heat wise, cold wise, but it is extremely cold out. You know, we're pushing 0 at the moment. But equally, I don't want to put the chicken to compensate that, put it too close to the fire, then you're just going to char the outside. I think I'm just going to take a bit of patience with this. You know, it's extremely hot, that fire, as you know, it's birch, so it's incredibly hot. So to answer my question to myself earlier, yes, birch bark are good for coals so far anyway. I mean, look at that, it's beautiful. Nature's telling you at its best, cooking me a nice bit of chicken. Let's give it a little test. It does spin though, so I'll have to make a little wood wedge to make. If I put a little wedge of wood in there, you see, it'll stop spinning. Should be grand. Right, I'll leave it there for a bit and I'll keep titivating with it, and then I suppose soon I'll be prepping the salad for it. If anything, that's probably my favourite bit of it, to be honest. It's lovely. Right, chicken's about done, so let's get cracking with the salad. I've just washed my hands. Obviously I had the gloves on when I was handling the raw meat anyway, but I've done it to give them a wash. This is just about a quarter of a lettuce, I think. Not a lot. Ow, this is only me. That was close. That was very close. I like the old shredded lettuce. And then I probably have, not even have half tomato, I don't think. Whack it on. Very difficult to do this in the dark. Yeah, that's plenty, that is. And so that's lettuce, tomato and some coriander. Not too much, as I learned the hard way. I want to put so much coriander in like you would parsley. Yeah, my bum didn't like it the next day. So do it with caution now. So get that all together, mix it a bit. Pretty good. Little squeeze of lemon. Not too much though. That's all you can bloody take. Leave that to one side. Okie doke, quick update. Like I say, you have to play about with it because you've got the wind chill, you know, the temperature, everything. So I've made another wire branch there so I can change between there and there. And now you can see that the chicken's getting a bit, see if I can get some light on it. It's getting a nice bit of char on it now. It's going lovely. Oh God, smoke spot again. Yeah, all good so far. Salad done. Now I've got the leftover Greek yogurt from earlier, it's about half left. I'm going to chop some, I'll pour the lemon in first. I suppose that doesn't really make a difference what stage that goes in. And then this is fresh mint. I don't really want to be shy with this stuff though. Equally I don't want the stems in on this case. Tarragon I wasn't too bothered about. Coriander, sorry. Oh, got that mint smell already, it's fantastic. A little bit more. Big stem there. Mash this up a little bit. Be very careful. It's all right in your kitchen, isn't it? With the big light on, as we say. Anybody from the 90s, put the big light on. Yeah, there ain't no big light here. I did have this wonderful little rechargeable floodlight, but I left it here at another camp and someone's half-inched it. But I might look into a, you know, slightly better one, so especially if I'm going to be trying and filming all this. Normally I'm okay with just a head torch, but you can't see nothing. So if there's any recommendations for a decent light for any of the aspiring YouTubers out there, please do let me know. So that's lemon juice, yogurt and mint. Just mix that up and give it a good mash and let it sit there for ages. These bits in there, no, don't want to waste none. Does it smell minty? Yeah. Okay, that can sit there for a bit. Just final check on the chicken really. Oh, and the naans I was going to make my own naans, but I was way too much faff in the dark, so I brought pre-bought some naans from the supermarket. So I've just got, at the very end, I'll just literally whack them on the coals. They're done. Bish bosh bash. Oh God, I nearly forgot as well. Some halloumi, grilled cheese, wherever you call it, depending on which supermarket you go to. I'm just going to sort of whack that on the embers at the end as well, same time as the naan, just to give it a bit of a warm up. I would normally marinate this, but I completely forgot about it, but it'll be alright as it comes, I think. So it's naan bread, lettuce, tomato, coriander with a yogurt mint dip, and then curry chicken. Nice. Okay, that's the salad done then. So chicken's done. Halloumi I've just got on a stick, roasted next to it because you don't want to overdo the halloumi, but the chicken's done now. I've been sitting there turning that for a little bit charred on the outside, but we don't mind a bit of that. Right, let's go and plate it up then. Okay then, here we go. Naan bread salad, halloumi. Let's get this chicken off here. Burn the stick after. I mean, oh God, look at this. Look at that. Oh, it's perfect. Perfectly. Right, get on with the job, Ben. So, nice dob of yogurt mint. Not too much. Slice the halloumi up just so it's easy to go in. And I'll do my salad. And then I go halloumi. And admittedly, this is far too much chicken, but always double check. Yeah. So tried and tested. We love these at home. You get that really nice hit of all the different flavours, bit of citrus, bit of mint as well. Nice cooling effect to compensate the chilli. But in this case, I'm very much looking forward to the char grilled sort of smoked flavour that's going to come with it. I mean, I've got to try a bit really. Oh dear me. Well, I'll give you a close-up of it. Oh, there we have it then. So, like I said here, lettuce, tomato, coriander, a little bit of lemon juice, and then the chicken is marinated just in curry powder, chili flakes and lemon juice and yoghurt. And then a bit of mint and yoghurt over it, and hey presto, you sort of seal up the back. And then it's almost like a burrito really, rather than a burger, but yeah, we love them. Looking forward to this, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, that's scran all done, so just let that sort of burn down now, be alright. I've got the stove going there, as you can see from this angle, a bit fuzzy. There we go. And then all I've done here is I've turned my normal camping chair, let me just show you, sort of upside down like that. It makes the perfect sort of sit on the floor sofa. Tripod there to watch a movie, a couple of beers, some Ferrero Rocher. Yeah, time to chill. I'm going to watch a movie. I don't know what to watch. I'll have a little flick through Netflix, see what's on. In the morning, I'm going to be doing sort of like a one-pot breakfast, so I'll show you how to do that, but I won't be doing it on the stove because the stove takes hours to cool down, even weather like this. We're probably at -2 now. I think, going by the weather report anyway, my thermometer's not working. And then whilst the breakfast is done, or maybe before or after, I'm not sure yet, I'll take you for a little walk around the land so you can see what Beehive Bushcraft's all about. And I'll see you in the morning then, folks. Thanks very much. Just took my boots off before bed and it's that cold. There's steam or evaporation coming off my feet. Morning folks, it's a cold one. Slept well in the end, but just as I was going to bed I knocked my water bottle over my sleeping bag like an absolute plonker. But then luckily enough I had the stove, so I just put the sleeping bag in the vestibule at the end where the stove is, and the sleeping bag dried. It took about an hour, maybe an hour to dry, but it did dry out, so I was up late, hence me getting up late this morning, which means I might have to skip breakfast unfortunately because I'll be taking my daughter swimming soon and I don't want to miss that. So I'll strike camp. I might film that for you. I'm not sure yet. You don't really want to see somebody putting a tent away, do you? I might try and get a little walk around the landing still. Depends what I've got time for. Well, I slept fine. All this, my usual sleep system, it never fails me. I am toasty warm inside here. Despite the look of my breath, my face is cold, but my body isn't. So I've been putting off getting out of bed, to be honest. But sometimes you just got to brave it. The worst part of camp is always striking the camp, but I think I build it up to something worse in my head. You know, it never normally takes me more than longer than half an hour, really. So. But still don't want to get out of bed. I've got you, I can't have breakfast. I was looking forward to that. But no, I might still cook breakfast. So I can have that going while I'm packing away, can't I? Yeah, just talk myself into breakfast. Nice one. Right, it's an attempt to get some breakfast on then while I'm going to try and strike camp. So this, essentially, there you go. That is essentially my entire kitchen. So. In here I've got a Swedish 740 which I use, mash gear for a brew, and that is my kitchen basically. Brilliant bit of kit. It's based off a Swedish Army mess tin, but obviously it's a more modern version, and essentially I can cook multiple things at once in here, which is the good thing. It just pops out. You've got the casement there, and you get obviously a bale so you can cook stews or whatever. It's got one little pot at the top, runs off a little Trangia burner, and then one huge pot there. You can also use that on top of the oven fire like that, so you can have it like an oven. But today we're using it as a pot. So first things first, I need to put more methylated spirits in my burner, because I know that ran out last time. Yeah, completely empty, which we knew. So just some methylated spirits in there. Need to be too full. This just saves having to get a fire going in the morning. You've always got to check it's actually lit. By holding your hand over it, yeah, because you can't see the flame at first, you see. then the windshield goes over that. And then let's start with a brew, I think. Do we do brew first? Yeah, do a brew first, right. That just sits in there. Get some water. Doesn't take too long. Bring it back when that's boiling then. Well then guys, I didn't get a chance to do that breakfast unfortunately. If you've seen in my last, well, a couple of episodes ago about the sleep system that was in, I was incredibly warm in there, but I was in just my base layer that I'm wearing right now. That's how that sleep system works. It generates the heat and warmth from the body, my body heat that's being generated. So as soon as I got out my sleeping bag, the cold hit me. You know, it was -3. I was not messing about to get any brekkie, so I legged it home and got myself a proper banging breakfast, recovery breakfast on the go instead. I'm just in the workshop now, just putting all the gear away. I got it. I didn't manage to do the flying pendulum thing, but I hopefully still enjoyed watching me do some rotisserie chicken. Please do get involved, a bit of feedback on the comments or whatever, because, what I might think is a banal, boring thing to film, it might be something you guys have never done before and you might be interested in that. So I'm always appreciate the feedback and ideas and all that, and I'm trying to make as many videos as I can, as long as you keep the requests coming. Next camp, what will that be? Next month, not sure what I've got planned for that one, so there you go. Get some suggestions. What would you like to see on the next video, and I'll do the best I can to cover them for you. Thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time, and have a great new year.